Tra la 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 la. Do 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 do. Yeah. Okay, I think the summer heat has gotten to me a little bit, but here we go for another ArtSnacks unboxing. ArtSnacks is a art subscription service that will once a month provide art supplies directly to your door. Let's explore. First up, we have the September sticker, a cool black and white design, and the snack is a crybaby. It was super extra sour. It was my first crybaby. And then on to the supplies. We start with the Zensations Brush Pens, and you get 3 of them. Each of them is $2.50 each, and ultrafine, fine, and medium points are included, and cool packaging too. And I can even read that Japanese, Shima Uma. And then we have M. Graham & Co. Artist Watercolor. I'm cursed every box to get green art supplies. So it's a huge bottle or container, or tube I should say. But once again, it's a green one. And then in the parcel, we have a pencil and a brush. The pencil is a watercolor pencil. It is the huge size Albrecht Dürer, the Magnus watercolor pencil. And I got a really interesting middle purple pink color. And the brush is the Princeton synthetic Sable round brush, retail $7. I got size 0. It's quite small. So the size of the brush and the fact that I got green once again, maybe you decide I'll just do a quick small sketch on a piece of watercolor paper that was included in last month's box, the August box. So these are all my supplies. I'm cheating by also using from the August box a pencil, the Ticonderoga ArtSnacks exclusive pencil. And I just sketch out a little rose. I thought that the pink, purple, and the green colors that I got would match well for that design and allow me to try out inking with my new pens. And boy, those pens are so cool. I had tried similar ones in Japan, and I was tempted to buy some of these when I was in Japan, but at that stage I'd already bought quite a few fine liners and I knew I was moving, so I decided to hold off. But now I'm so glad that I've gotten some of them. They have a firm, flexible brush tip, one of those new kind of rubber brush tips that are quite firm but will bend a little bit. And of course, with all 3 pens, you can get some really interesting varying line weights. And then onto the watercolor pencil. It's really creamy to lay down. You can see a lot of texture there, but that's because it's on rough watercolor paper. And when you add water, it just melts away so beautifully. I'm pretty sure these are the best watercolor pencil, or this one is the best watercolor pencil that I've ever tried. The paint is also superb. Of course, it's from M. Graham and it's $15 a tube, so you'd want it to be superb. But it's green. Why green? I decided to mix the green and pink together, and that technique worked well to get a duller tone because I felt that the green of the leaves was just too sharp. And that tone also worked to create some contrast and shadows in the rose petals. I was being quite messy with this because the small brush was kind of frustrating to work with, and I had a few drops of paint fall off, and then I decided to try and create even more drops. It was difficult with a small paintbrush. I've never tried to do spray drops with such a small paintbrush before, but I managed to get a kind of interesting effect with a couple of really large blobs. And then I went back to create some more shading, trying cross-hatching with the zebra pens. I think I achieved that well for the rose and the rose petals, but things got a bit weird for the leaves. Unfortunately, my camera's memory card ran out of space right before the end and I didn't notice, so here is a photograph of the finished rose. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. It really helps out my channel a lot, and I'll see you next time for another ArtSnacks adventure. Hopefully without any more green art supplies. I've got to beat the green curse. Okay, bye.